take that one, Liam.
Well, when you grow up, you'll know. But so it really should be your dad and mom explain that one to you. But if you watch women's hockey and you watch men's hockey, I think it's a self-explanatory answer, correctly. Women's hockey is growing tremendously in the last 15 years. The first ever women's world championship was held right here in Ottawa. And Canada won it, and they're fantastic. And there's so many great girls, young girls, playing hockey. But they should not play with boys, because they're not as big, they're not as strong, and they're going to get hurt. So that's why they should play in their own league. Girls should play with girls, and boys play with boys. Until they meet at the bar later and go home with each other, and then play with each other.
That's a good one, Liam. But you know what, Kira? The other thing to keep in mind with that is some women hockey players are better than some men hockey players, just like there are many men hockey players that are better than women hockey players. Just we.
Hold on 1 second. There's no woman hockey player better than a pro man hockey player.
That's not what I said. That wasn't what I said. You're right. However, I wanted to point out at my son Aiden's hockey game this morning, he was playing another team from Nepean Knights. This is Novice C. There were 2 girls on the boys hockey team from Nepean because they were excellent skaters. So that was great for them because it got to stretch their limits and have them play at a higher level than they would be able to and really force themselves. So that's a great thing.
That's a great thing, yes it is, isn't it? And it makes me feel all warm and gushy inside. And you know what, I would love it if one day my little son could play on a girls' hockey team and probably reign supreme on that team as well. I would think that if you could go one way, you should be able to go the other.
That's fine.
Right? That would be, because, yeah, I mean, if you've got girls' hockey teams, you've got boys' hockey teams, it's similar to like the Boy Scouts and the Girl Guides. For some reason, a girl can become a Boy Scout, but a boy can't become a Girl Guide. Now, you can have girls playing on men's teams or boys' teams, but you can't have boys playing on men's teams.
Didn't say that.
Yes, you did.
No, I didn't. See, this is what he did the other night, too. That's not what I said. I said for young girls who are learning and young boys that are learning, it's good to play with people that play the same level that you do. That's all. By the time people grow up, you're right. People's muscles, women's and men's frames are different and they can't play the game together. That would
hard
be
for a little girl to understand. I don't know where we fed her that question, but
anyway, yeah, go ahead and take a house.
Woohoo! No. Guys, I just have to say, guys, I have to take my leave because, like Alan said, I have to go to the game tonight and I got to go get gussied up for it. But I did want to say that throughout the season, I'm going to be bringing a typical woman fan opinion, perhaps, women in hockey. That's what I'm all about. And for me, sometimes it's not totally about stats, but about the relationships that are made in the game, and that's what brought me to the game. And it's a great game, and women fans are so important to the game, aren't we, women? Woo!
These relationships are really important after the game, especially when the guys are on the road.
Oh, no! I've heard about those horror stories.
You know the term 2-on-1, no backcheckers.
Oh, goodbye.
thanks, Angela.
I'm only serious. Come on now.
Here you go. Grab the mic.
I got a question with regards to what you guys think of a lot of the extended contracts that have been happening in the last couple of months. Most of the time we've been seeing hockey players sign for 5, 6, 7 years. Now we're starting to see 9, 10.
I think case in point is
Ovechkin was 13.
13 years for $124 million. And it's back-end loaded, not front-end loaded.
Does this make any sense for the player or the team?
Well, that's a good point. So, first, I think the one you're referring to is probably the biggest contract in NHL history, $124 million over 13 years, which is it's actually back-end loaded as opposed to what the other big contracts were, more front-end loaded, so that they wouldn't have to carry as much later on in their contracts for the team hitting the cap. But Alexander Ovechkin, who is probably one of the most entertaining hockey players in the league right now, signed a 13-year contract, $124 million. The first 6 years, at $9 million and the last 7 years at $10 million. That's I hope he can get by for the first 6 anyway before that extra million kicks in the latter part of his career.
My view, you're hitting the nail on the head there. I think, first of all, to answer the gentleman's question, it's one you can't really answer right now, because I think the proof in the pudding here is going to be, will an NHL team win the Stanley Cup with somebody under contract for one of those deals? Until that happens, I think school's out on these deals.
Yeah.
But you can still turn around and do what Dallas did and sign a Mike Ribeiro to a 5-year, $25 million deal. I don't think that was a good deal. That's because I think Mike Ribeiro is a cancer in the room inevitably, and he's a gutless puke who come playoff time will be looking for a spot to hide. And he'll be no good to you come playoff time. He'll never win a Stanley Cup. So I don't think that's a good deal. That's Les Jackson and Brett Hull trying to put their mark on the team. They got a guy having a career year. They panic and they sign him. So the 5-year deal still exists. To what you just said, it still can exist. But it's up to a smart GM to make it work for him. The only way we will know is who wins the Stanley Cup.
Yeah.
Who wins the cup in the next few years? Is anybody going to win a cup with one of these guys under contract? That's the only way we're going to, you know,
Yeah.
like you alluded to.
The
And
Rangers.
until that happens, then I think the school is still out on GMs who can be like a Brian Burke, you know. And you go, let's see the look at the GMs. Who's been the most successful GMs in the last 10 years? Let's look at the Stanley Cup winners since the first lockout. 1995, New Jersey Devils, Lou Lamoriello. 1996, Pierre Lacroix, Colorado Avalanche. 1997 and 98, Jim Devellano, Detroit. 1999, you had Armstrong in Dallas. 2000, Lamoriello again. 2001, Lacroix again. 2002, Devellano again. See the trend? 2003, Lou Lamoriello again. 2004, Jay Feaster, Tampa Bay. You know, 2006,
That was a one-up.
Carolina. Yeah, one up, but that's a lot of them are one ups.
Yeah.
You know, there's been a lot of different teams have won in the last 10 years, but the general managers have all shared something in common: fiscally prudent, smart hockey guys.
Good scouting too.
Excellent scouting. New Jersey's got David Conte, the best scout in the league.
Yeah. Yeah. So if you were to start an NHL team right now, who would you build it around? Crosby or Luongo? Well, Crosby's hurt. I'd go with Luongo.
You know, the rule of thumb is you should take the goaltender.
Yeah.
I think any GM would tell you if you've got your choice of any of what would be considered an exceptional goaltender, the rule of thumb says take the goaltender. But in this case here, I got to break that thumb. You know, I got to go with Sid the Kid, because I think he is exactly what Wayne Gretzky said he was going to be 4 or 5 years ago when he saw him skate in that little junior free agent thing down in California. This guy is so good. He is amazing. His teammates even. They are going public with comments that we haven't heard about another hockey player really since Mario and Wayne. I would take Sidney Crosby and just hope like hell you got a tender or a target back there who can stop a beach ball roll from center ice. Because Sid the Kid, he will win a Stanley Cup in his career. I'm convinced
Okay,
of that.
well, thanks everybody, and welcome. Thanks for coming out to the first launch of the FaveQuest Nasty Hockey Show. Liam Maguire and myself will be back here next Saturday. However, I think Liam is out of town in a tournament.
Yeah.
So Angela, who was here earlier, is going to bring up some very valuable points about women in hockey and women and hockey, and I think we're going to have a pretty good debate about that. So I really think it's good to come up with that one next week.
That should be thrilling.
Yeah, it's going to be good because I got a few choice words for that one. Anyway, all of you, thank you so much for coming out. Enjoy the game tonight. I appreciate the attendance. We'll see you next week. Thank you very much. This will be online in about half an hour or so. Check it out. FaveQuest.com. Thank you very much.
Good job, buddy.
Thank you, sir.
Good job.
It was great.